Hi everyone, welcome back to another Pokemon trading card game video. And today we have a Night March mirror match. Yep, probably the most powerful deck in the format right now. And we've got one on either side. On your left is Brandon and on your right is Steph. And I have shown both off in my videos a few times and we'll see how they do here. So anyway, once again, this video was made before the Lysandre's trump card ban was announced, so we'll probably see that played by maybe both of them a few times. I haven't watched this video to make sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's played at least once. That being said, Night March is so much more powerful now that Lysandre's trump card is gone. It used to be that was one of the only ways that you can guarantee to slow down a Night March deck. You know, once they're all powered up now, they can just go all out, and there's no stopping them unless they accidentally deck themselves out. And most experienced players make sure that's not going to happen. So anyway, I do know that Steph is running a very interesting tech. The Bouvalant from Plasma Freeze with the Sap Sipper ability. Its attacks do 40 more damage to grass Pokemon, and Derail attack for 3 colorless energy, it does 80, and then discards the special energy attached to the opponent's active Pokemon. Night March usually only runs a few energy, all double colorless energy, which are always special, so maybe we'll see Bouvalant come into play here. We see Brandon get at least a few Pokemon, and Steph started out with one active and one benched, and we'll see what Brandon puts as his active. They both set up, and well, they're just ready to start. Brandon starts with a Joltik, Steph starts with a Mew active and Joltik on her bench, and we do see the Battle Compressor from Brandon's end. However, I did see 1 or 2 Lampent already in his hand. Not good. You want them in the deck whenever possible so you can get rid of them with Battle Compressor. And when you Battle Compressor with Night March, the first things you always get rid of, no questions asked, are the Lampents. Lampent and Night March. And the way Night March works is you attack using the Night March attack. It does 20 times the number of Pokemon in your discard pile with the Night March attack. It doesn't sound too powerful until you pair it with cards like Battle Compressor, which just discard 3 cards, any 3 cards from your deck. Oh, Brandon did play a Professor Sycamore there, which put even more Night Marchers into the discard pile. So, Lampent has Night March, but its pre-evolved form Litwick does not. So most people just run 4 Lampent, 0 Litwick. So in essence, its only purpose is to be discarded as soon as possible. We see an Acrobike that puts a Pumpkaboo on the bench. We see a Dimension Valley, and we see Brandon's deck go all over the place. I believe he was playing... you know, I actually have no idea what he was playing there. Maybe a Trainer's Mail? Yeah, it was probably a Trainer's Mail. That makes sense. But yeah, this is part of the reason why Lysandre's trump card got... Yeah, that was Trainer's Mail. This is part of the reason why Lysandre's trump card got banned. Is because Brandon's just gone through so much of his deck already. It used to be if you could do this with no repercussions. We see another Acrobike puts a Mew EX on the bench, and he does have a Shaman EX if he wants to draw more cards, and he's going to play that right now. Draw cards until you have 6 in your hand with Shaman's setup ability. He's going to bench another Mew EX and Acrobike again. Ooh, those are 2 horrible cards. He's going to choose to keep the Eevee and discard the VS Seeker. That could come back and bite him. He definitely needs the VS Seeker for later. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Maybe he thinks that the Eevee will come into play at some point. Eevee can evolve into Flareon to take out potential Virizion decks. It could evolve into Leafeon with Energy Crush. But nah, we'll see what happens in the future. As it is, Brandon went first, and so he had to pass. So it is Steph's turn. Mew EX does not have Night March. However, it does have the versatile ability, which lets you pick one of any Pokemon's attacks in play and use that as its attack as long as it has the necessary energy. So for a double colorless energy, in addition to the Dimension Valley, well, the Dimension Valley actually reduces it, so if it's picking Joltik's Night March attack, it only needs 1 energy. If it's picking a Pumpkaboo, it does still need 2, but whatever. So the point is it's all set up to do Night March here. The thing is, Steph actually doesn't have any Pokemon in her discard pile with Night March, so right now it's not doing anything. With the muscle band, it would add 20, but it needs base damage to begin with. So, we see 2 Mew EXs on Brandon's side as well. We'll see if those come into play at any point. Mew EX is weak to Psychic, so maybe we'll see a Mew EX at some point. I wonder what happened there. Maybe Steph accidentally shuffled in her N into her deck while playing it. Who knows? So in any case, it looks like it was an easy correction, so nothing to worry about. But yeah, Mew EX is weak to Mew EX, so, you know, if there's even one Pokemon in the discard pile, Night March is doing, what, with the Muscle Band, it's doing 80? So if there's 2 in the discard pile, that's a knockout on a Mew EX. It still stands, though, that Steph needs to get Night Marchers into her discard pile in order to start powering herself up. And it doesn't really look like anything's going on right here. So let me go ahead and say, for the record, I do believe that Night March is probably the best deck in format now that Lysandre's trump card is gone. Oh, it looks like she just went ahead and used Night March. She probably did have one in her discard pile. It's just out of frame. My apologies for that. Basically, the only thing that can consistently counter Night March is Seismitoad EX. The item lock is just that huge. A lot of people don't play Seismitoad EX just out of principle. They don't believe that item locking is fair, and I'll be honest, I agree with it. Item locking is just too powerful, and it takes a bunch of creativity out of the game, but I guess that's how they decided to make this work. We see a Battle Compressor from Brandon's side, getting rid of that Dimension Valley. It's obvious neither of them plays any other stadiums, and I did see a Lysandre's trump card in his deck. So, you know, even if he never plays it this game, just know that it was there. But yeah, basically, yeah, and he decides to actually discard that with his Battle Compressor. He can always get it back with VS Seeker. Not a bad idea at all. Battle compressing something into the discard pile and then using VS Seeker to get it back out is a terrific way to guarantee a supporter for the turn. As long as you have access to your VS Seeker, as long as it's not shot off by the item lock that I was just talking about. And item lock really does hurt Night March. It needs those items to discard Pokemon. And we're going to see a Night March for, what was that, 6? So that's 120 times 2. Yeah, 240 on that poor Mew EX. And now Steph has that lone Joltik and she needs a miracle. Let's see. She could maybe target that Shaman, which is weak to lightning, so... but she would probably need something else. Yeah, there we go. She benches another Mew EX. Basically, you always want to attack with Mew when possible. Even though it yields 2 prizes, it ensures that your Night Marcher is kept in play. If she were to attack with this Joltik and it gets knocked out next turn, then she might be in trouble because she has no Night Marchers. But there is the Bouffalant once more, and looks like she's playing her own Battle Compressor. I'm going to assume just because she just is searching through her deck and taking out the Lampents. And voila, 3 more Night Marchers in the discard pile just like that. But yeah, that's the Bouffalant with the Sap Sipper ability. Once again, it does 40 more damage to the opponent's grass Pokemon. And then Derail for 3 colorless does 80 and discards a special energy. And, well, she sees that Brandon is playing Night March, which uses special energy. On top of that, there is an Eevee there, which may potentially evolve into Leafeon. So, Derail would one-shot a Leafeon. It would take a lot to power it up, though. Dimension Valley only takes care of Psychic Pokemon, not colorless Pokemon. So, yeah, we'll see if she's able to actually use that Bouffalant. It's an interesting tech. We'll see if it ends up working. I'm going to assume she played a Trainer's Mail there and went for the Ultra Ball. Once again, I'm sorry that the discard pile is out of frame. That is my fault. However, the play mat is usually, the play area, my apologies, is so huge that it's usually hard to get it all in frame anyway without being directly overhead. And for those who are asking, I just set my camera up on a tripod, point it the right way, and hope that there's no glare and hope everything's in frame. You know, there's always the viewfinder and stuff, but things just change throughout the game. I mean, come on, Skyfield is now a thing. when there's 8 Pokemon on the bench on both players' sides of the field, on top of having 6 prizes and their decks and their discard piles and the active and the stadium, the play area gets to be pretty darn huge. And she does go for the Mew EX with that Ultra Ball. Not a bad play at all. Getting another Night Marcher into play might be a worthwhile investment, but maybe not. And as it is, she has to pass, because she didn't get a double colorless energy, which was really, really huge. She's all set up to deal damage, but she just didn't have the energy to do it. Brandon evolves into Leafeon despite knowing that Buffalon is there. Maybe he thinks, well, it takes 3 energy to attack, I think I'm safe. And then he attaches the double colorless energy to Pumpkaboo, probably thinking I might have to attack with this at some point. And then he uses his Battle Compressor to discard more Night Marchers. He's going to get rid of Joltik. It looks like that was his last one in his deck. No, there's another one. I saw another one. He's going to get rid of his Jirachi EX. Interesting choice. Well, he doesn't have any room left on his bench anyway, so maybe he's just thinking, I don't want to draw into any more Pokemon. And then he just stops at that. Battle Compressor says you can discard up to 3 cards. It doesn't say it has to be 3. It has to be at least 1, but it could be 1, 2, or 3. So, yeah. And now he's just counting up the Night Marchers. You know, it's obviously a knockout. Ooh, he's going to retreat here, actually. He's going to retreat into his Joltik. I don't know exactly what happened. Oh, you know what? He used Sky Return. He used Shaman EX's Sky Return attack to return Mew into his hand and also knock out the Joltik. And that was pretty cool. It took me a few seconds, like, wait, what happened? But no, Mew EX can use attacks from any Pokemon as long as it has the energy, and, well, Shaman EX does have the Sky Return attack. And now Steph doesn't have any Joltik in play, so she cannot Night March. However, that Mew is powered up to either use that Shaman Sky Return, or, conversely, it's able to use Buffalon's attack. What was it? Derail. Because of the Dimension Valley in play, reducing its necessary energy cost only to 2. And it did look like that was a Lysandre's trump card that was played. So all of that is back in each player's decks. No Night Marchers in the discard pile whatsoever. I believe that Steph is the one who played it, because Brandon's explaining to her why he's leaving his in his discard pile. Lysandre's trump card shuffles all cards into the player's deck except for Lysandre's trump card. That includes ones that were already in the discard pile on either player's side. Anyway, we do see the attack from Steph. It could have been, you know, it was probably Derail for the knockout. And we see Brandon promote the Pumpkaboo. Pumpkaboo is a Psychic type, so it is strong against Mew. Mew is weak to it. However, Pumpkaboo's weakness is actually Dark, not Psychic. So it cannot be hit by super effective moves from Mew EX. We see Brandon play a Shaman EX of his own and use its setup ability. Draw cards until he has 6 in his hand. And then he uses a Trainer's Mail to look for... well, he picked an Acrobike. Trainer's Mail, just look at the top 4 cards of your deck, pick a trainer card you find there, reveal it, and shuffle the rest back into your deck. So, he's going to use that Acrobike that he got, and we see the Acrobike, and he discards the Grass Energy. He's going to play the Acrobike again. He got a Lysandre and a double colorless energy. He's going to discard the double colorless energy, actually. And now he has a Lysandre in his hand. Has he played his supporter for the turn? I don't believe so. So he can Lysandre up the Buffalon, potentially knock it out. Actually, no, he doesn't have enough Pokemon in the discard pile to use Night March to knock it out. He might be able to knock out this Mew EX, but I think I only saw 1 Night Marcher in there. He's thinking about it. He might be considering bringing up the other Mew EX with his Lysandre, maybe just to hope to stall. He is going to play the Lysandre, and we'll see what he brings up. He brings up the Buffalon, actually. Buffalon does have a 2 retreat cost, so Steph would have to either play a switch or put on a double colorless energy to retreat it. In any case, we do see the Night March for 40. 20 because there was one Night Marcher in the discard pile, and then another 20 from the Muscle Band. Pumpkaboo's Night March attack requires 3 energy, however the Dimension Valley reduces it to 2. And wow, almost all of this came out just in Phantom Forces. It's like the people in charge were like, we really want to see a really stupid deck do really good. Let's just put everything in there we need. Let's give this, like, all the Night Marchers ever that you'll ever need. Let's put in a Dimension Valley and then a Lysandre's Trump card, just make sure they never deck themselves out, huh? And then the one card they ban is Lysandre's Trump card, which turned out to be way too powerful. It's only been out for 6 months, ladies and gentlemen. Lysandre's Trump card. They banned it after being out for only 6 months. That's pretty significant. So we do see the we did see Brandon draw a Lampent for his turn. It looked like Steph didn't get any energy. She didn't get anything she needed. And we see the Night March again. She has a Dimension Valley and a Psychic Energy in her hand. That's not fun. Not fun at all. I believe Brandon has 2 prizes left. He might only have 1. Steph's going to put the Psychic Energy on the Mew EX. Brandon top decked the Acrobike. That is horrible for Steph. We see that one of the cards he drew was Jirachi, and we'll see what the other one is. Battle Compressor, which he's going to use. He discarded the Jirachi, and he picked the Battle Compressor as the card to keep. And he's going to use that to get those Lampent out of his deck and put them into his discard pile where they belong. So now Night March is basically, well, I mean, now it'll one-shot the Bouffalon even if it was at full HP, and it's not. And Pumpkaboo was already on the verge of one-shotting those Mew EXs anyway. So we do see the Night March for knockout. That was not Brandon's last prize. Did he draw 2 prizes there for the Bouffalon? I couldn't tell. I'm going to assume he just drew 1 because he knows how it works, but yeah. Anyway, we do see the VS Seeker from Steph's side for the Lysandre's Trump card. Just hoping to reset Brandon to a point where she can maybe make a comeback. She didn't have too many cards in her own discard pile, and, well, maybe this is the break she needed. She can use maybe Sky Return as her move. Leafeon's attack is Energy Crush, does 20 times the amount of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon, so maybe she could do that instead. Yeah, it looks like she's going to do that instead. No? Well, yeah, I guess that was what she did because she didn't return that Mew EX to her hand. So she did knock out the Pumpkaboo just barely thanks to that Muscle Band. Using Leafeon's Energy Crush attack. That was pretty fun. So now, Brandon promoted as Leafeon, and Energy Crush here will not knock out this Mew EX. What can he do? Especially since Steph just used Lysandre's Trump card, so the only Night Marcher in his discard pile is that Pumpkaboo she just knocked out. I believe they're both down to just 2 prizes here. He's going to bench another Pumpkaboo, interestingly, instead of hoping to discard it with an Ultra Ball or something like that. And he's just going to Energy Crush for 60. Oh, Steph top decked the Computer Search. Oh my goodness. With 2 other cards in her hand, that means she can basically get like a Juniper here. Yeah, she's just going to get a Juniper. That was a huge top deck. She gets to get the Professor Juniper, discard her hand of 0, and draw 7 fresh cards. That was absolutely amazing. No cutting up the deck. This was just a nice local tournament. Everyone's like, we trust you to not, stack your deck or anything. Oh, and she got the Ultra Ball. She has so many Lampent in her hand. And a Pumpkaboo. Man, she got stuff. She might just make a huge comeback here. Yeah, she's going to Ultra Ball away. 2 of those Lampents in her hand. That was absolutely amazing. She could get a Joltik here. She could get that Bouffalon that she put back in with Lysandre's Trump card. Once again, I cannot... I'm sure you guys are tired of me kicking a dead horse, but Lysandre's Trump card is banned as of June 15. Technically, it's not yet, and it hadn't even been announced as banned when this tournament went on, but she did get the Bouffalon. But it's just going to prove to you guys how amazing it is. It really did allow for Steph to make a huge comeback here. Even if she doesn't come back entirely, it still gave her a really, really good chance, as you guys are plainly able to see. and she attaches the psychic energy to the Bouffalante, and she could use. She would need a double colorless energy on that in order to retreat into it and then knock out the Leafeon, so let's not even assume she's going to do that. She could Night March here. Would that be a knockout? I don't think so. I think that she would only be doing 60, I believe. So, she's going to retreat and then go into Bouffalante. Oh, no. She used Sky Return from UEX. Okay, got it. She used UEX's Sky Return, which deals 30 usually, but with the Muscle Band is 50, and then puts the Pokemon and all cards attached to it into the hand. So we see the VS Seeker for the Lysandre's trump card. Now it's Brandon's turn. Now it's Brandon's turn to try and flip the tables. He's pointing out to her she has to leave her own Lysandre's trump card in the discard pile. Okay, now all the huge Ultra Ball getting rid of the 2 Lampents was all for nothing because now the Ultra Ball and the Lampents are back in her deck. We'll see what goes on from here. Honestly, Brandon, Energy Crush right now does 60? Yeah, I think it does 60. So, not a knockout on Bouffalante, which has 110 HP. It would be a 2-hit knockout, but by then, Steph might get a double colorless energy, knock out this Leafeon. You know, maybe she can, like, well, looks like he's just going to, okay, I guess Energy Crush is the, you know what, the Mew only has a Psychic Energy on it, not a double colorless energy, so yeah, Energy Crush only did 40. Steph did top deck a Joltik. She has a nice Juniper in her hand. Oh, man. I bet she was really hoping she had a Lysandre here, because she could just Lysandre up a Mew or a Shaman or something and potentially win, but oh well. She's going to go ahead and Juniper away her hand, which included a Jirachi, which is not a good thing to get rid of, but necessary, and the Joltik, which puts a Night Marcher in there, and the sooner she can get Night Marching, the better. We all want to march at night, march at night, march at night. We are soldiers in the nighttime, and we see the, I guess, escape rope? We do see a battle compressor from Steph putting another few Pokemon in the discard pile. I'm pretty sure they were all Lampent. I guess it was an escape rope because they both switched their Pokemon, and it's still Steph's turn. So, yeah, this Pumpkaboo's going down. Night March will knock it out. Derail will knock it out. Basically, everything here will knock it out except for Sky Return. And we do see the Acrobike from Steph putting another Joltik. Oh, actually, she went for the DCE. Regardless, you know, this is just a really... Yeah, she put the Joltik in there. So, I guess there was just one in her hand that she couldn't get rid of. We do see, it looks like she's counting up her Night Marchers. That is Night March for 5 Pokemon plus a Muscle Band. That is a nice, even 120 damage against a Pumpkaboo with only 60 HP. And now she's down to just 2 prizes. And we see what Brandon gets here. We see the Grass Energy. It's able to use Night March. No, it's not. Hold on. It's able to use Energy Crush. Crap. Poor Steph. Brandon used Energy Crush, knocked out her Mew EX due to weakness. Oh, but what a game. What a nice, close, fun game. And I hope you all enjoyed this. Yeah, I'll definitely have a ton more TCG videos for you guys in the future. Great job to both Steph and Brandon for playing Night March so well and for making it a great game for me. Thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more.